Let me see here if I can see myself. I don't see myself there. What's going on, guys? Everybody see me okay? Let's see right here. Home. Says I'm live right there. Okay, now I can see myself. How's everybody doing? Hey, Linda. Is that Criselda? Make sure I say your name right. I hope everybody is doing okay. Hey, Robin. Guys, it is time for the new Christmas IOD release. Now, I don't have everything because I bought everything last time and I was gone, so it didn't really help me out that whole much. And so this time I only bought the things that I really wanted. Let me see right there. I can see both of my places here. Hey, Arletta. Hey, Jaretta. I'm seeing a bunch of new names, guys. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Robin. Let me see what that, dismiss that right there. I see Sharon and Hope on YouTube. Guys, thanks for hopping over there. I appreciate that so much. I had to told Jeff to bring me his phone out here. Hey, Leah. Hey, Cindy. Okay. I am going to do this little IOD Santa. And guys, look at all of that definition in that Santa right there. You even have the poinsettia little leaves right there. That is just so, so cute. Hey, Sandra. And so what I'm going to do is I didn't have a container big enough to pour my resin in. But guys, let me show you first. Let me show you everything that I got. And there's plenty more on the website. I just didn't pick up everything this time. Let me get my overflow right there. I have a mold for overflow resin. I ended up spending my money more for the stamps, because next week we're going to start doing some Christmas cards on my page. And this is called the Sugar Plum. This one here is called the Sugar Plum, and it's got all of these different pieces. The Nutcracker. It has the little dancing girls, the little Sugar Plum girl. There's a little fairy. It's got some greenery, and it's got Sugar Plum Farm. It's got this cute little mouse down here in a Christmas tree, and it is really, really cute. I stamped on a piece of watercolor paper just to see different inks and different things, how they would go. And I think a regular permanent ink works the best, because I tried using my distress inks, and they were a little faded. Not really faded, they kind of bled is what they did. Yes, I do use the last year's molds that I had. Let me see here. I'm going to put this down here on the floor. And then I got this one right here. I got this one right here, and it is called Christmas Post. Hey, Carol Ann. And this one right here I think would make really pretty Christmas cards. And right here, let me pull this one out. This one has several different Christmas cards. It has this Santa in the sleigh with all of his reindeer going down. It has the word Christmas. It has another little post over here, and here's a little post sign right here. And then it has a little church out in the meadow, and it has postcard and just some different things on here. And here's one that's turned sideways right here. One that's turned sideways. Guys, this is a good one right here. If you like making cards, and I used to make a lot of cards, and I'm going to get back into doing it. And I can't wait to get back into some of this stuff that I used to love to do, and I just haven't been doing it here lately. Well, not lately. It's been a while. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour, I'm going to pour our mold after I show you this other stamp. And then while our mold is drying, I'll show you the IOD rub-ons that I got. And I only got 3 or 4 of them. And I know people were asking about the foil last year, and they do have one that's in silver. There's one that's a package of silver and gold, and it's that foil that I put on that cigar box. Okay, here is the last stamp I got, and this one is called Christmas Wishes, and this is a really, really pretty one. I think this one would make great Christmas cards. You have a vintage looking Santa, a Christmas tree, a big Santa, a snowman, the words "Missing You, Merry Christmas," a couple of gifts, some candy cones, a little stocking, and then there's a little angel and then a little deer. That's the other one that I got. So that's what I got. We're going to go ahead, and I don't have a container big enough to pour enough resin for this, because it tells you on here it takes 153 milliliters, and that's your A and your B combined. So about 76, 77 of each one, and these containers only go up to 100, which is fine, but when you got to pour them together, you need something a little bigger. And so instead of me getting a cup, I've got to throw this away. I mean, I can throw it away. It's a new one. I'm going to go ahead and pour in, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pour in 100 of each of them, because that's going to be plenty. And then I'll have some for my little pumpkin that I'm going to do. I've been adding to some pumpkins, and I got an idea for a cute pumpkin. So I have got the resin, usually the casting resin, like this is white. You can get this from Hobby Lobby. It's the cheapest place I found it. You have an A and you have a B. And I am gonna set my things here in front of me, and I'm gonna fill my A up. And I did mark my cups earlier, but I guess when I wiped them off, I wiped off my letters. I'm gonna fill this up to the 100 mark, which is right at the top, and pour it in. Now, if it's clear resin, it's usually an overnight. Whoops, kind of threw that out there. It's usually an overnight resin. It takes 24 hours if it's a clear. And you want to make sure you are right on the money on your resin. If you put 100 in, you put 100 in the other one. Hey, Teresa. Let's go ahead and get my B out here, and let's put 100 in here. I'm going to go all the way to that top line. You can see my top line. I'm going to have to lean back to see that line. I didn't mark it very good. Okay, we got 100 in both. Make sure my lid is good and tight. And I'm going to throw them in this plastic cup. You can throw them in those little drink cups you get from a sleeve of them from Walmart. Those are big enough. I've got my B and I've got my A. And we're going to stir this for 2 minutes. And we're not on any timetable here either. We're going to stir it for 2 minutes, and it turns cloudy. And when it starts to clear up and get a little warm, that's when you want to put it in. Cindy, I love doing resin. I don't do near as much as I want to. But if you guys would all sprinkle me out, I would appreciate it. We're going to wait until my clock says 2:10 or 12:10. When my clock says 12:10, we're going to put it in our molds here. And let me get my other mold here, because I know I'm going to have an overflow. Now you see, now it's really clear. Let me go one more stir. One more stir. So we've started about a minute and a half. Let's just go a little bit longer. But when it gets clear, you can put it in your molds. So I'm going to lay my pumpkin mold out here, because I've got a project I'm going to do. And I'm just going to start pouring slowly. You want to make sure you get in all the little nooks and crannies of your mold here. And you want to have it level. Now, the nice thing about the IOD molds, they do tell you how much you need, which is nice. And I poured, like I said, I poured a little bit extra. I knew I was going to need it for another project. And I meant to put this under a mat, because I don't think my table is very level. Let me see if I can slide this over under this canvas real quick. I should have put my gloves on, because I'll end up having this all over me. Okay, I went ahead and I put that on that canvas to level it up just a little bit. And I want to go up to that rim. And then I'm going to put some in our little berries and our little greenery here. And I'm just going to have a little bit left over, and you can always pour on top. I'm going to start pouring it in this big pumpkin right here, and I know it's not enough to fill it, but always have another one handy. That way you can use it. I'm going to go to town and buy me some big cups today because I need some. I'm going to go ahead and let all that come out, and you can see it takes about 10 minutes for it to turn white. Go ahead and all of it out there. And I'm going to throw that in the trash so I don't have a big mess. Now, I'm going to change spots here. I'm going to slide that over to dry. And I'm going to take this one and move it up to dry. Get it out of my way. And this is one of those Dollar Tree frames. We had the oval one, and the oval one I don't think was going to fit it. So I grabbed one of the square ones. Hey, Dorothy. But these would make really cute Christmas gifts. And she has other molds on there. So Hope, I got it from Decoupage Central. And if you'll use my link that's on my Facebook page, I'd love you to grab one of these, because you could even put a little hanger in there and make a hanger and hang it on a tree. Yeah, that's going to fit. I'm going to take this, I'm going to paint it out white. Just some snow white. I'm not going to take any pains and painting it, and we're going to put on a little bit of wax on it. I'm going to start painting out this little frame. I'm going to do it white, but we're going to grunge it up. Or we may put on, well, I don't know what I did with it. I had it last night. I said put on some of the Rub and Buff, but I don't know what I did with it. We're just going to paint it out white, and then we'll just use some wax on it and make it a little grungy looking. Hey, Barbara. But there are so many molds on there other than just some Christmas molds. She has gone in and put more molds on. She managed to get some more of the older ones. So there's some on there. So make sure you guys all go and check it out. Now when this dries right here, we're going to let this dry. I'm going to show you the transfers that I got. They would make great Christmas ornaments. Let's just go ahead and get this painted. We're going to let it dry because it's plastic, and I hate drying them with the dryer. It kind of warps them just a little bit. And our Santa is over here drying. He is turning white. Hey, Crafting Mom's Corner Market. But it went live at noon today, so make sure you guys all go and grab them, because these, especially the transfer, they really go first. Oops, I just about put that in my Santa. We're going to make a little Santa portrait here. Just let this dry. I've got my fan on, so it was kind of cool this morning in Oklahoma. It was down in the 60s, and I came out here in a pair of leggings, and I had to go in and change. Hey, Lisa Hawkins. I'm gonna have to go see what Barbara is which Barbara needs prayers. Tell you what, so many people are not feeling good right now. There we go. I can still see a little bit of gold right there. I'm gonna wiggle my brush in those little bitty beaded area. I think Jeff's just gonna have to give me his phone, guys. Little Chilean broken arrow this morning, or broken bow. I don't doubt it. It was just kind of damp, that damp cold. I don't mind cold. I just don't like damp cold. Because damp cold, just not my cup of tea. I don't like being cold if I'm wet. Let's go ahead and just put a coat on that. It's probably going to take 2 coats on the straight pieces. I'm going to go ahead and get this side here, and then we're going to set it down, let it dry, and we can touch it up before we put in our little snowman. We're going to paint out our snowman. I grabbed some red and some green paint, and they paint better. Resin paints better. Any resin paints better if you put a coat of white paint underneath it, or black paint, any kind of paint you want, before you start painting on your details. I'm going to grab this by these little tabs, and I'm going to set it down. He's going to look cute in this little frame. He's going to be a festive little Santa. Okay, let me move my paint out of the way so I don't spill it. And this is still drying here. It takes about 10 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and look at these other transfers while these are drying. Let me grab a... yes, you can order online from Hobby Lobby. Just go on there and check out their specials. They always tell you what's on sale. And just type in at the top what you want, Hope, and then you can always get Hobby Lobby to mail to you. I have ordered ornaments from them before. Okay, I took out one of the stamps. This one right here I did with acrylic ink, permanent ink, like archival ink. These right here I did with oxide. This was a black one. It was a little bit better. This was the walnut stain. It was a little bit better. See, there's a little rabbit in there. But the oxide pink really wanted to like run. You can still see her, but you didn't get to see the detail of her dress. So I'm getting ready to go find some permanent pink ink for a card. I thought that card would be so pretty in a pink one. Yeah, COVID is hitting everywhere again, and it's changing. Okay, I grabbed this one right here. This one is called Christmas Joy. And you get 8 sheets. And if you can see all those right there. And I'm going to open it up and show it to you. All of these right here. We're going to let this all dry, and then we're going to start painting our little Santa out. Because I'm not on a timetable today. Little Griffin, he's been in there being boss to Jeff. Now, when you see him in person, they always look so much better. This is the one Santa. And this is the next page right here. I don't know if you can see it from the glare. It's got some really cute pieces on there. This one right here. Look at that Santa up there. Isn't he cute? And then it's got some words you can put on. You can put these on cards. All of these right here would make good cards. Good cards. And like this is just one of the books. They had 2 or 3 other books that I didn't even get. And now I'm kicking myself. Thank you, Hope. I think this was a Walmart shirt from way back when. There's that one. Here's this page right here. You can see all those right there. Those are some really pretty ones. This one up here has a cottage in the back, a little church in the back. You can see that right there. And these all pretty much have the same thing. Churches, a bridge. Here is some embellishments you could use, like some Christmas bells and different things right there. This one right here has Christmas Joys, Happy Christmas, and Merry Christmas. Words you could use. Those are really pretty. I like it. Yeah, I like the old world. That one right there. And that's the last page of that book. I'm sitting these down here in my floor. That way. Now this one right here is the front of this one. It has more Santas. It has more frames. Really, really pretty details on this one right here. Really pretty. Our school, Hope, our school used to be red and white or red and a little bit of black. And everything I own for 33 years seems like it was all red. Yes, Laurie, this is some of the Christmas collection. And like I said, use my link, go on there, and you can see the other ones. The other books that I didn't get. Isn't that pretty? So you got lots of little framings that you could do different things with. Oh, that one's cute. That is a little bird. That is cute. And here is a stag right here. That one would be pretty on an ornament. All of those would be on an ornament. Those are all pretty. Let me get my fingers here. Here's another one. This little Santa here is pretty. And then you have this over here. And it's a Santa, an old Santa standing next to a tree. Like old man Santa. Those are all pretty. And they've all got really pretty colored. Here is some more frames. There's another deer down here at the bottom by a tree. Some more bells. These are pretty. Now this is probably a cute Santa right here that would look good. That is pretty. That is a really pretty Santa right there. And all of the holly. That is really pretty. And then there's another little bird. And you can actually put in a word right here with some stamps if you wanted to. Hey, Tina. Here's some more birds. Those are just cute. I love those. I love birds though. I really love birds. Here is some more Santas and a cute little Christmas tree and a lot of holly that you could use on different projects. Those would be really pretty on cards, just for little details. Oh, I love vintage too. Now this is one. This says, or the days of Auld Lang Syne, old, I can't even say it. Days that still retain their splendor. Memories, moonlit years which you shine. Some of the words I can't even read. Make your best season merry. Like a rosy holly berry. That is really cute. Just got some faded words in there. Just some faded words. And more holly. Okay, that is the end of that book. And I got one more book. And then I got one paint inlay. I didn't get the foil this time because honestly, I didn't realize it was silver until after I already got my order and went back and looked. This one right here has a whole lot of stuff. It has some little houses. I just love these houses. I have a big board. Well, it's not a big board, but it's a thin board. I think I'm gonna make me a whole roll of these houses for like a little scene. These right here would all look pretty on ornaments, and they're just the right size, probably for about a 3.5 inch ornament, maybe 4. And right now you can find those ornaments at Hobby Lobby on sale. Especially those white creamy ornaments would be really pretty. Here's some more that you could use. Oh, and there's some really pretty trees down here at the bottom. Some snowy trees. I have an idea coming up. Here's some more houses. Some bigger houses. There's a church. That looks like an old-time store right there. And you've got lots of little rocking horse and ornaments and stockings. Here is some little fairy. You can put these on ornaments. Those would be pretty. All of those would be pretty on ornaments. Especially those creamy white ornaments. I used to have some here. I've probably got them up in the loft is what I've got. And here is some numbers. That's a set of numbers to 12, the 12 days of Christmas. And here is a row of those houses with all of this holly and this garland that would be really pretty. Those would be pretty on a little sign. And all that holly is different. Some are with some cedar branches and some other with some other greenery. And that's the last one in that book. But like I said, they have some other books on there that aren't necessarily Christmas, but that are really pretty. And they do have another paint inlay. This one right here was my favorite. That was my favorite paint inlay. And I can't open this one up, but I can show you up close these pieces right here. Those are some really pretty paint inlays. Like that. And I plan on doing that Santa right there in a paint inlay. I've got a pillow covering that I want to do. I could, Suzanne, I could make some laser cutouts and put those on. You're absolutely right. I could do that. I've done that with some of the magnolia stuff. Okay, this still isn't dry. It's almost dry. Let me fix my fingernail. That side was the last one. Let's go ahead and grab our sides just real quick, and then we're going to put together our Santa here. Hey, Michelle. That side looks pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. This one just needs another coat. And let's check our insides, because I know they're going to need 2 coats of paint. Let's just get our inside, and then we're going to take our Santa out of our little frame here, because I think he's pretty well done. It only takes about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes is all it takes to mold those if you use the 10-minute fast cast. So in 15 minutes, you could have a really pretty Santa. A real pretty Santa. I'm going to dry this just a little bit to get it out of my way. Hey, Deborah. And I got paint all over my hands here. Let me get my paint off of my... Now, if you get these kind of containers for your resin, once they get dry, you can flip them and you can pull in that resin out of that and reuse those. Those are really good and handy. Oh yeah, my birthday is just almost almost in December. Okay, I'm just going to take this and we'll start peeling it out. And he turned out really pretty. Let's take out our holly, pop those out. That is a really pretty holly leaf. And this one right here. And if you have any overpour, you can clip those, sand them down. I usually kind of take care of them when I bring it out. I'm going to wipe off the back of my mold because it got a little hot on this little plastic. Who would have thought? So here we have our little Santa. And I don't have any over pour on him, which means you got some little flaky edges around the edge of it. So what I'm going to do, he is just going to fit in that. Just fit in that little frame. I'm going to go ahead and put him a whole coat of white paint and dry him. Because then I know my other colors are going to stick really good on him. Even though his face is white, we're going to go ahead and put some white paint on him. And paint him up and get all those little areas of his beard painted. And even if I'm going to paint the other parts red, I'm going to paint them white first. And I grabbed my Tuscan red acrylic paint. And then I grabbed some other paints here for like his face. I grabbed some markers. There's his hat. And when you paint it, it really brings out those details too. On his beard, we're just gonna put some wax on it. Yeah, you can clean the mold with alcohol. They come out nice and clean. That little hat does look like a little pom-pom. And I'm not even going to paint that little pom-pom on there. Yeah, I do, but it's in the house and I wish I would have had it in here. My desk is pretty level. It's just a little bit off on the top. But I had just ordered one and it's sitting in there in a box. I went in twice to grab it and I never did. Go ahead and paint these pieces, and you can tell that you've got paint on it. It does change it from this creamy resin color to a really pretty white. Now I probably should use chalk paint on it, but I'm going to use some acrylic paint. It'll just take a couple coats to cover it. And I think it's going to be pretty. You can see the difference in that just a little bit. And this right here has a little bit of where's my knife at? My scissors. Let me get my scissors here. See if I can use my big scissors to cut it. I'm just going to trim around these berries. It's got a little bit of that, where the flashing kind of comes over the top a little bit. That's when you've added a little bit too much resin to it. And you kind of miss out your details. So I'm going to take my knife or my scissors here and I'm going to clip those out and get closer to that one. Because you couldn't even tell that that had a space between your berries. So we got that one done. And let's go ahead and just paint that up. Oops, I don't want, yeah, I'm gonna paint my berries too. I've got a different red for my berries. I went and grabbed a bright red. I'm gonna pick him up and make sure I've got paint everywhere, and I see some places I need to get right in here. And I'm just wiggling my brush to make sure I get all in those little areas. Whoops. Make sure I get my sides. And there we go. We're going to dry this just real quick. And let me move my frame out of the way so I don't scratch it. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, they would share and make really pretty Christmas ornaments. This one right here, before you put in a little bit of resin, put in a wire or a string, and then pour the rest of your resin over the top of it. Yeah, I do have some mica powder, but... And then you can make it into a hanging ornament. I do have some mica powder, but I don't have any red. I've just got purple and gold. Couple golds. You have a top like this, Teresa? I've had this since I worked at the school. I was there 33 years and everything was red, and I wore a lot of red. Thankfully, I can wear red. I like red. Let's grab this out. And I'm going to take a bigger, let's get a medium-sized brush. I'm going to paint out his hat in this Tuscan red. Because I want him to look kind of old. I don't want him to be a bright color. We're going to paint out his hat in this Tuscan red. And we're going to leave his little hat, his little thing here, we're going to leave it. No, you know what? I should have left that white. Let's paint this part red. We could have left his little part there white. We'll let it dry and we'll paint over it. Let's just paint this part of his hat red. This is really the only part that you see. We want the other part to look like fur. We'll paint it white and then we'll add a little bit of wax over it. I think that looks really pretty, that deep color of red. Now make sure I get all my edges. We'll kind of go up here on top of his little hat and make sure I get all the way over to that fringe or that fur. I guess it's fur. Okay, we're going to dry that red. And I like that deep color red. Hey, Christy. Let's dry that up. And if it starts to look a little streaky, just put another coat of paint on it. I said I didn't need more white. Now I've got to have my white back out. Guys, I raised twins. I learned how to do things with both hands. I think when you have twins, you learn to do what you can do with both hands. I tell you what, Christy, these are really pretty. Grab my red and I see a little spot. And I just covered up that place. I see some white places up there I missed. That's okay. That's what paint's for. You can get the places that you missed. I think this is going to be a really cute little Santa in a frame. And you could, like I said, you could have made him into an ornament. But I just thought, having a little picture of Santa, he'll go with my Santa that Char painted for me. I would definitely get it, Cindy. You can do so many things, or Carol Ann, you can do so many things with it. Since I've got this painted white, I'm going to leave it white. The little fur on his hat. I'm not going to change him up a whole lot. Because we're going to wax anything that's white anyway. We're going to make him look old, really old. Hey, Deborah. Okay. You can see the white part of his eye. And I did get this cream coat. It's kind of a tannish. I'm going to use one of these little mixing cups and make up a fleshy color. I've got this color right here. It says it's called jute. We're going to put a little bit of jute here. And then I've got this one right here is called Marshmallow. We're going to add a little touch of that to lighten it just a little bit and make him a fleshy color. I'm just going to use my stir stick here. We're going to mix that up. I didn't want it as yellow as the marshmallow, but I didn't want it as dark as the jute. So we've kind of got him a kind of a fleshy color, and I'm going to take a very amount of paint, and we're going to start painting out his face. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pink probably to his cheeks. He is going to be really pretty. And he's going to look really old when we're done. Okay, I'm just going around his nose. I'm going to leave the inside of his nose white for right now. And let me show you what I've got. I'm working on getting an overhead camera so that you guys can see better. I'm working on it. It's not as easy as it looks to figure it out. He's even got some little wrinkles here in his cheek. I can feel them when I'm painting here. He's going to be cute. Then I'm going to get the little parts under his eye here. And right under his eyebrow, we're going to put a little bit of this color. And guys, I think I'm going to give him green eyes. My dad had green eyes. Okay, and this right here is his forehead. My dad had green eyes. My brother had green eyes. I have some nephews and a niece that has green eyes. The rest of us all have either brown or blue. But my sister and I are both brown-eyed, and we don't know what my older brother was because he passed when he was 2 days old, so I don't think they really looked at his eyes then. But Michelle and I both have brown eyes, but we have different color brown eyes, believe it or not. Then I have one brown-eyed granddaughter, one blue-eyed granddaughter, and one brown-eyed daughter, and the twins both have Jeff's blue eyes. Okay, he is going to be cute. Here's his face so far. Just a little bit of color in that face. A little bit of color. I tell you what, these are going to be fun to paint. I think I'm going to make some ornaments up for my grandkids with the Santa. However, Layla told us she doesn't believe in Santa or the Tooth Fairy. And we've been kind of waiting for that. We just have to be careful around the boys. And she told her mom and dad she's known for a while. She just didn't say anything because she likes the toys. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this in his nose, and then I'm probably going to come back with a little bit darker color. And I'm going to leave those eyes white. And I'm going to grab some brown. Here's some brown. We're going to give him some brown eyebrows. Boy, isn't that the truth? I'm going to use what I've got in my lid there. And we're going to paint his eyebrows just this brown color. I thought that would be a good brush, but nope, that's not a good brush to do this with. We're just going to paint his eyebrows. I'm just going to put some paint in my lid. Sometimes that's the easiest thing to do. Let's get his eyebrows painted. He's got some bushy eyebrows, which I could relate. I had bushy eyebrows as a kid. I need a tougher brush. I need something that's got a little bit of power behind it. Something that's a little stiffer. Let's try this one. It's kind of a fuzzy brush. There. I'll just kind of highlight it, and then I'll use my little brush to work it in. Okay, there's what we got so far. We got his eyebrows. Or we're working on his eyebrows. He's got some eyebrows. Now I'm going to take a little bit of water. I don't see my little cups, so we're just going to use these little cups here I had for resin. A little bit of water. And then I'm going to come back with this smaller brush to kind of work in that paint in those little bitty, tiny, tiny little spaces. Because he's got some very detailed little eyebrows. And we're probably going to put some white in his eyebrows too, but I'm going to try to get all this white here off the edges and give him a little bit of a... I thought about black eyebrows, but you can always change your mind and change them out. Boy, he's got lots of eyebrows. Okay, now I need to kind of go around this little curve. Gosh, he's got some detail. Kind of pounce my finger there. Oops, got some in the wrong place, but that's okay. I think we got his eyebrows there. Now I'm going to rinse off this brush, since it's a small one. And let's come back with a little white. I mean, a dab of white. And we're just going to kind of go on top and just give him a little bit of white in his eyebrows. And basically I'm just touching like the high points of it. Just touching the high points of his brow. And I'm going to go ahead and rinse that out. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that tan. And I'm going to fix my spot. And then I'm going to come right up into his eyebrows to kind of make his skin blend into that. I think he's going to be cute. Let me get his lower lid there. And there. Whoa. Boy, we want to throw him around, don't we? And there, see his eyebrows? Now I'm going to take this smaller one here, and I do want to give him some green eyes. But I don't want him so green. And I'm just going to... That's one thing about having this little mat here. This little doggy pad. You can put paint on it. And mix your paints. I don't want a really bright green. I'll add a little bit of brown to my green. And we're going to give him a little eyeball right here. I'm just going to barely touch. Boy, I don't know if I like that green or not now that I'm doing it. Barely touch that little eye. I mean, that is a teeny tiny eye. If you don't have glasses, you're going to need glasses to see that little tiny raised space. And there, I gave my Santa green eyes. Some green eyes. You can see that? And I know a lot of people have already hopped off here because it takes so long to do this. But guys, I appreciate you guys staying around. We're gonna leave this white, but we're gonna leave his little bundle kind of white. Let's paint out our holly just real quick before I stop that. And I've got my green here for my holly. We're gonna do all of our little holly leaves and this green I've got. And then I've got some paint from Afraid Not. It's a really bright red. And I thought I would do my holly berries kind of a bright red. And I'm trying to decide what color I want to do the background of the frame, because I'm going to just glue them to that frame, that back spot. Guys, make sure if you would use my link, I'd appreciate it, because that helps me out a lot. And go and check out what they've got. I will post a link to the Santa mold when I get done here. And there is part of our holly berries. That is a pretty green. Let's grab this one right here. We may put this on his hat, one of them. That is a really pretty green. I'm gonna have a bunch of brushes to clean up here. Oh goodness, Cindy, you're gonna have a house full, aren't you? I'm just going to use this fluffy brush. I'm going to dip down in there. This is a really bright paint that she has, and I'm just going to paint these little holly berries this bright red. I thought about painting him the same color as our little hat, but I want something bright on his hat. There's that one. And here is this one. Looks like I missed a little bit of green there. We're going to fix that. We'll throw some red on it. I know today's our last day with little Griffin. He goes to his Nana's tomorrow because Wednesday she usually watches him. And then he'll be in daycare in Fort Smith. You know, after he got hurt at the last daycare, we've had the privilege of keeping him 3 days a week. And I would not trade it for anything. Because he just walks in the kitchen and goes, Jeej, I want a snack. I want a snack. Or, because he calls me Jeej a lot. Other kids call me Gigi. And he's got to where he calls Jeff Pops. Only one of the kids that calls him Pops. But we're going to miss having him because our house is going to be quiet again during the day. I could do that. Add a little bit of gray in there. I'll have to find my black. I don't think I have a gray. I've got a little bit of silver, but it's metallic. Okay, where's my green brush at? I need a little bit of green, and I just messed all that up. Hey, Mel. Hey, Terry. I'll find some of my gray, Hope, and I'll put some on there, some little specks. Okay, I am going to use my wax and a brush. And let me get all my dirty brushes over here. Close my paint up. And yes, I am a messy painter. Does it make any difference how hard I try not to be messy? I'm going to be a messy painter. That's just how it goes. I've got my little brush here. I'm just going to kind of like let my brush just touch the tops of all of those pieces of his beard, just to give it a little bit of, I think I need a little bit darker color is what I need. I got my black, but it's not really black either. We may put a couple different colors on here. And then we just kind of brought out his beard there. I'm going to put just a little bit here on his fur. I'm not necessarily going to mess with his pom-pom that much. That's the Howard wax. The Howard wax is a little lighter color than some of the others. But I have this, it's called a dark wax. It's a sealing wax. Let's go ahead and put that on just a little bit. Oh, I think gray is a good idea, Hope. This one's always hard for me to do. There we go. See, it's a little darker, but it's a little thicker paste. Because I kind of want him to have that old look. There. I'm just going to use my finger. That's kind of giving me the dark on top of those. That's what I want. There. That's what I want for him. I want him to have those dark, dark lines on there. I'm going to be cleaning up my mess here all day. I can tell you that for sure. But I am going to come back on tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do with these molds. We're going to do something else with the rub-ons for sure. Okay, let me hold him up. And see how that dark wax just kind of gave him a little bit of definition in his look. I brought out a pink. This is one of my Magnolia markers. I'm going to give him just a little bit of a pink cheek. And you're not really going to see a whole lot of it. And I don't know if you can see that pink on his cheek there. It's really, really light. I can see it here in person. It's really light. Okay. Let's make sure these are dry. Let's just go ahead and just use one of them. I think one of them's probably plenty. And I'm going to use my heavy Bond gel to put this stuff together. I could use some hot glue, but I'm just going to use this. To me, this stuff holds it really good, and I don't have to really worry about it. Let me get a little bit more. And I'm going to just set it right there. I may put a little bit of hot glue with it. Just to temporarily hold it until that other bonds to it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to take the same wax over here on our board here, and I'm going to use this dark wax. Nice thing about it though, but guys, all I got to do is just pick up this little puppy pad and throw it in the trash. We'll make our little frame a little grungy to match our Santa. And I just thought of something that I got in the mail from Decoupage Central that I'm going to put behind him. It's going to be white, but I think it'll be pretty. I think it'll be pretty. I think I have it right here. If not, I know I've got another sheet of it. I'm just going to kind of go up that frame. Now I'm going to take my finger and make it a little bit darker by touching the tops of those places. I'm going to be going in and really washing my hands, guys. To me, if you can't get your hands messy when you're crafting, seems like I like that. I like it better. Okay. We're going to put this over here because we can use that for another project. We don't have to put both of them on here at all. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's right here on top. We're going to Mod Podge this right here on the back of our board. And I need to paint that board white because I have this piece of textured paper we're going to put behind it. So let's take this little board. Ooh, I might leave the black behind it. That gives it a little bit more depth. Can we get away with just half a sheet? I think we can. We're going to leave it black. We're just going to do the black behind it. That's going to give it a little bit of color behind our paper here because it has a lot of see-through areas. If I paint it white, it's just going to be total white. And we want our Santa to stand out just a little bit. So let's grab our Mod Podge. And let's Mod Podge this on. Quick and easy. I'm just going to Mod Podge it onto the back. And I'm going to put a heavy coat on here because that paper is a little thick. And let's see, this, I think this side's probably the front. I think that's going to be pretty. And the thing is, it doesn't wrinkle. Doesn't wrinkle. We're just going to dry it. And I am just going to hot glue my little Santa on this. Right, Sharon? It's hard to paint without getting paint on your hands. What soap was it, Suzanne? I usually go in and I'll put a little bit of Murphy's soap on my hands and just, it'll come right off. Okay, that's good and dry. I think that will be pretty on here. She added this to a paper she sent me, and I thought, what am I going to do with that? And then, lo and behold, we came up with an idea. Because just by looking at it by itself, I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. Let's see if our Santa's going to fit in there. After all this, he better fit. And he does. And he looks good in that paper. Let's add in our board here. Guys, we are just about done. I know this has been a long day, an hour. I am never on here for an hour. Ever. Let's put our backer on here. And he will hang up. Let's see. Sometimes you got to wiggle these around to get them back together. Let's get him up here first. You just got to kind of hold your mouth right sometimes. There we go. Just got to pop it in. It does, doesn't it, Cindy? I got paint on that one. There we go. Okay, this is my top. Like I said, I'm just going to hot glue him in. I could use a heavy body gel, but I don't think I have enough to put on it. I'm going to have to order some more of it because I really like it. So we're just going to start putting some hot glue on here. And if he falls off, I'll come back and put some heavy body gel, or I'll get some E6000. Don't dry on me before I get you down. I think I need to get me a glue gun that holds a full piece of a glue stick. And forget these little bitty ones. Okay, I'm going to have to stand up to do this, guys. And I just pulled off his little hat. Let's just put some more hot glue on it. Let's turn it this way. Turn it that way. And there we go. What do you guys think? Think he turned out cute? We can either set him up or we could hang him. Either way. Hey, Cheryl Mish. But anyway, guys, my link, I'll put the link to this little Santa mold. And if you guys want it, I'd love for you to use my link. That helps me out. But anyway, guys, have a great day, and I will see you guys all later. Goodbye, everybody.